What happens when your world turns upside down and you need help fast? Who are the silent heroes that race to the scene ready to save your life? Today on Everyday Penny, we meet the heart behind the heroes. We're going behind the scenes with the Chief Philanthropy Officer of Narberth Ambulance, Janine DiTommaso, the unseen guardian who keeps this vital community service running. This is an episode you don't want to miss. Hit that subscribe button and get ready to be inspired.
911, what is your emergency?
So welcome, Janine. Can you give us a day of hanging out at Narberth Ambulance?
Sure. Well, the ambulance is open 24/7, 365, and we range about 15,000 calls a year. So across 4 stations, there's about 35 calls a day. So the ambulance never closes. Now, my job is more of a daytime job. I'm going and I'm in charge of fundraising and community engagement. So I'm going and meeting with the community, sharing our message, and I get to brag about all the wonderful things that my colleagues do. They save lives, they keep our community safe. And so I just get to share that message, inspire others if they want to give, how they can support us. And that is been a really exciting journey to share the message of Narberth Ambulance and share all the work that my life-saving colleagues do.
I do have to say that they have quite a fleet of life-saving, what would you call them, automobiles?
Mm-hmm.
Trucks, automobiles,
Yeah.
which I'll have in this video somewhere so you can see exactly the powerhouse that Narberth Ambulance is in saving your life on the main line. Janine, with a budget of over $6 million, how do you overcome the challenges of keeping that money coming in so that this vital community service can keep running?
Yeah, an ambulance company in general is not a profitable business venture to go into. We're dealing with insurance companies, billing, and as a nonprofit, our main funding sources are billing and benevolence. And so with diversifying our funding streams, we can make sure that we are solvent and that we have money coming in from lots of different ways. So we're not fully counting on one of those streams. The largest stream is billing. And so we have in-house billers who will work with the patient and work with the insurance companies to make sure that we can advocate for our patients and make sure that the insurance companies have what they need in order to fulfill their relationship with the patient. And the other challenges are people say no. I ask people all day, every day for money, and they say no, and that's okay. I'm committed to the nonprofit sector. So if we're having a conversation and what we do isn't really resonating with you, maybe I find out you're into education or youth. I'll go ahead and we call it bless and release. I will bless and release you and hopefully give you some other nonprofits that maybe you would be interested in. Now, we're an interesting nonprofit to be because we are an essential service. So anyone who lives in Lower Merion Township, Haverford Township, or in the boroughs of Conshohocken, West Conshohocken, Lansdowne, or Narberth, you are a stakeholder. We are an important part of your life, even if you don't know us, as you are an important part of our organization. And so that encompasses about 150,000 people. Wow. So I have a pretty big pool of individuals to solicit to. We also have many businesses in the area, and it behooves them to support public safety because we want safer communities for all. But not only are we on a mission to provide the highest quality emergency care for our residents and the businesses that are in our community, we also want to build the new paradigm for the ambulance organization. We're almost there. We have it figured out operationally, administratively, medically, procedurally. What do we do to have a successful nonprofit ambulance organization? And at a time when many are closing or consolidating, we are poised for growth. And so we're very proud of that position. But as a nonprofit, I've been doing this for a really long time. I can't get too smug about that. And so, again, going back to diversifying our funding streams, that's really the key to making sure that we can keep our revenue incoming and that we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket. A lot of times with grants, that can happen. And so we make sure we have a good mix of grants, individual donations, major donors, businesses, and we also work with our municipalities and apply for grants through them as well.
Great. I mean, just to think of that amount of money to have to raise, I'm sorry, just kind of blows my mind.
Well, luckily I don't have to raise the full $6 million.
Janine, what role does resilience play in your journey as a fundraiser, and what obstacles and adversity have you encountered?
I think that I am the eternal optimist, and I think it's an important characteristic for fundraisers and anyone who's working in a nonprofit in general, but especially in an ambulance. We don't always have good outcomes, and that is on the side of our providers who are out there in the community, but also staying resilient, staying positive. Folks are going to say no, and I can't be crushed. And I think as humans, hearing no can be devastating, but I've been doing this long enough. It's not maybe no forever, and maybe no just right now. And so I can check back in with you, but building those relationships with the community, that's the most important thing, that we're humanizing what we do. We are a nonprofit, but we are a nonprofit ambulance organization. And so there can't be any more the highest of stakes. And so when folks are not able to give or not interested in giving, I don't take that personally. Because we are an essential service, we are important to everyone. So many times the folks who have used our services become lifelong donors because of the experience they had with us. And again, we don't know the outcome of every story. We don't know the outcome of every patient. And so providing that excellent care, that's the most important thing, is that when they are with us, that we really can stand by and say, we gave them the highest possible emergency medical care. And then that makes it easier for me because I can go to the community with all of these testimonials and examples of what we did. So it becomes word of mouth and a ripple effect of we're kind of an interesting business. We don't want to be busy because that means that people are sick, but we are very, very busy, unfortunately. We've actually, over the past 3 years, had an over 20% increase in calls. So we are busier now than we have ever been. And 2024 is our 80th birthday. So as we turn 80, we are seeing that there are more and more calls for help, more calls and more sick people. So our services are more in demand than ever before. And so sharing that message, especially with the mainline community, when they understand what we need, they're usually very, very generous.
There's nothing more important than that. So with all of that, Janine, how do you balance ambition and patience with your long-term goals, not only for the ambulance, but, personally, even for yourself?
Patience is a very big thing in fundraising. I don't meet someone and tell them all about the great work that we do and say, now give us money or ask them for money. I'm building relationships. And so the patience is where I'm really, like a human, building a real life relationship with this individual. I'm sharing what we do. I'm sharing the impact, but I'm also listening to what are their goals? Why are they interested in supporting us? And I can help them understand that where those values connect with our values. And so in that, I have to be very patient, and I also have to be very authentic. in those relationships. I don't want transactions. I want relationships with people, especially at an ambulance. We are dealing with life and death. And I want folks to know that whether they were $1 million donor or a $10 donor, their donation helps. It helps save lives and it helps make us a stronger organization. And so from the moment I meet someone until the moment that I actually ask for money, by the time I get to that point, you know what's coming and you're happy that I'm going to ask that. And we already kind of know how much I'm going to ask for. And it was just a natural progression in the relationship for the ask to come.
I like that. I mean, that would be a lot of what any entrepreneur would find valuable is building that relationship. And then when you ask someone to support your business or help you out in some way, they're happy to do it. I like that. Okay, Janine, this is my last question for you. Reflecting on your life and journey so far, what's one valuable lesson that you would like to impart on other people, either, entrepreneurs or fundraisers, or, just people who are looking to bring in revenue to whatever situation they're in?
Don't be afraid of change. I'm someone who has spent 25 years in the nonprofit world, raising money and working with a whole host of different missions. And I thought I was going to be an actor. I thought I was going to be on stage and on film. And as I was moving through my life and I was working with nonprofits part-time, I really felt that calling, that I felt most alive when I was being of service. And the nonprofit world has allowed me to be of service to thousands and thousands of people. And that is such a privileged position to be in. But if I wasn't adaptable and I wasn't open to change, I never would have taken that step. I went back to graduate school as an adult, as an older adult with 2 kids and a full-time job. And had I not had the support of my family, but had I not said, I can change, I can adapt, I can make changes and follow the thing that looks glittery, the thing that looks special, and the thing that makes me feel special. And I think a lot of times folks are on a path and you're so focused on that path that when other things come up, you may see them as a diversion or a distraction. And I'm always like, what's in there? What could I find in there? And that has served me really, really well. And I'm so thankful that I had that thinking so that I could explore, because this is truly my life's calling, being of service and working in the nonprofit world and even in the smaller niche of fundraising. That's my thing. It is the full toolbox of everything that I have grown and cultivated within myself. You think, how does a theater major become a fundraising executive? Well, let's think about it. I have to be very comfortable with public speaking. I have to be very comfortable with speaking to people. I have to remember my lines. I have to be really observant. I have to have improv skills, because when I'm having conversations with folks, they may say something that sparks me to remember something about our organization and see where we can align that. And so all of these theater skills are perfect for fundraising. I put on great shows, great events. All of that is theater in a way. And so if you asked 9-year-old Janine when she graduated University of the Arts, downtown Philadelphia, if this would be her future, she would have never believed you. But as I look back now, really thankful for all of the experiences that I had have brought me to this moment. And I'm so, so privileged to be working within this organization, the nonprofit sector, and advancing missions.